So I'm with Dr. Zane Cheropovich, and Doctor, I really want you to introduce yourself. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I am the staff veterinarian down at our Crawford County Humane Society Veterinary Hospital, and we're a full-service vet hospital for the city of Meadville. So we both see community animals and people's pets, as well as taking care of the medical needs of the Humane Society animals.
Let's talk about the situation in the United States right now and what you've learned from what you've done with them.
Well, I think the number one thing as far as dealing with the Humane Society is the need to, it's really hammered home to me, the need to get pets spayed and neutered. One of the things that's happened in recent years is, unfortunately, really the explosion in the pet population. So, and we see that day to day in dealing with the shelter. People surrendering animals that they're unable to care for, people getting into breeding situations and, finding out that it's a lot more work and a lot more money than they had anticipated. People who haven't thought about kind of how a pet will interact with their household and having to give it up. So we see a lot of things like that. And so it kind of is emphasized the need to really think carefully about your pets and kind of have a game plan before you decide to purchase animals or bring animals into your household, and two, just the need to spay and neuter your pets.
I think that the important message here is that if we don't take control of the situation, it's the animal that suffers in the end.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about how these animals end up suffering, because there's an overabundance of them. Mm-hmm. Because somebody thinks that they can deal with a puppy and they really needed an older dog. So what are some of the things that people should think about when they, for saving these animals?
Well, I think first off, they should think about what the needs of what their particular needs are and how an animal will fit into their house, rather than, and sometimes what that means is considering a breed type that you wouldn't normally think about or maybe wouldn't be your first pick. So if you have young children in a house, maybe a larger dog or a dog that's more geared towards hunting and protective activities is not the right dog for the household situation. Maybe a little Shih Tzu or a little Pomeranian or, a smaller dog might be a better fit for, that particular situation.
And I think the beauty there is that by doing that, they'll keep the dog.
Sure.
And instead of returning it back. Let's talk a little bit about even the holiday concept of, people get dogs for Christmas, mm-hmm. and then suddenly, lots of dogs are being purchased then, but suddenly a few months later, those dogs are being turned out or brought back or what have you.
Sure, and I think it's, not just the holidays. A lot of people, and we see this at the shelter routinely, pets are given as gifts to children. Maybe pets are given as gifts to aging parents. And what quickly happens is that, these dogs, although they start out as novelties, quickly the people kind of lose interest in them or no longer want to care for them. And then those are the pets that wind up being turned over to the Humane Society. So, it's important that when you're getting a pet or you're, going to have a pet into your household, that you really understand all that you have to do to care for that and make sure the person is really committed to and really wants to have a pet. That it's not just a novelty that will kind of soon wear off.
What about the puppy mill situation?
Well, I think that I'm definitely against, obviously, dogs that are bought from a commercial pet store, because many of those are from puppy mills. And I think the other issue that comes into play is that there are so many dogs that are euthanized in the United States, at shelters and other locations, just because they're unwanted. And so I think that people need to be aware of that, and whenever possible, I see great dogs come through the Humane Society every single day, and that would make great pets. And so people, I don't think, are sometimes not even aware of the resource. So I always tell people, hey, before you think about going to a pet store, tour your local shelter, and chances are you'll find a dog that really catches your eye or that you can really fall in love with.
It's not just about getting a particular breed. I mean, there are, like you say, there are so many wonderful dogs that these shelters have, so why not take a chance?
Yeah, sometimes you'll find a dog that you didn't even think would fit you, or a dog will catch your eye that you weren't looking for. And those are the types of dogs that you only find at the shelter. Maybe you're going down the row and you just see the look in a dog's eyes or a cat's eyes, and that can be enough to form a bond. So sometimes you don't know what you're looking for until you find it.
Right, exactly. And those dogs, many of them are there because they were mistreated or whatever. So wouldn't it be nice for these people to realize that they're taking something that needs real love and attention and that will appreciate it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those dogs are really great dogs and really excel. I mean, I've seen it time and time again. Once they get into their home that they were meant to be in, they really blossom. So that's always a joyful thing to see. Okay,
so if somebody wanted to buy or to get a dog from your shelter, how would they do that?
Well, first, they just go over and, during business hours, we welcome people to come in. You can look at the animals. We even have a special room that, if you see one you want to interact with, you can take it to the room and spend some quality time with it. After that, it's just a matter of, filling out the paperwork, and, there's a small fee involved, but, after that, the animal can be yours.
All right, and they want to find out more?
I would say the best way to do that is to contact the shelter. Tina Zakastalecki is the operator over there, so anybody can call and talk to one of the great staff or Tina, and they can set you up with an appointment, or tell you more information about an animal if you've maybe heard about one from the radio or seen one on the website.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much for enlightening us about the situation out there.